Bravehearts, Urbanites, Coach Mad Hatters, Vineyard Creatrix, Crimson Velvet VIPs. So, you may see a clip. Yeah, because I think I'm going to post it. I think I'm going to post it in the order in which it was received. So I did a small clip that was speaking about a lecture that I bumped into this morning immediately after meditation, and I made it an exception to the rule because of um, my yearly cocoon quietude. So I may mention that usually every year I am quiet, semi off the grid between the Wednesday before Thanksgiving all the way into December, the last day in December, the last day of the year, the 31st. Um, my birthday is the first week in January. So I usually, even if it's energetically, hit the ground running just because I am a fresh new earthling at the beginning of every calendar year. This is the, how do I say this? It's the third segment of my Chiron return. So in astrology, you'll have a Saturn return, which usually is around 29, 30, 31 years between your 29th and your 31st um, birthday or earthling cycle. And your Chiron return is between ages 49 to 51. And so the Chiron return is a 3 year span. So the first segment is age 49, second is age 50, third is age 51, and then it closes out your Chiron return. So the Chiron, in mythology or symbolically speaking, Chiron is your timeline when you are reconciling being the wounded healer, and it all Chiron has everything to do with your identity. So the manifesto that says "Know thyself," that's usually where your Chiron return reconciles how well you know thyself, and the degrees by which it will be a mm, I was going to say a light cycle, but I don't think anybody's Chiron return is a light cycle because even Chiron himself, it was a hard, it was a enormous challenge for him to, especially tapping back into his immortal sensibility. So it's been several years now that I have been initiating my knowledge around I'm a celestial having a human experience. And now it has transmuted into I'm a celestial having an earthling experience. And from that cosmic string of contacts has unraveled and sparked an entire way that I view what happens to me in this lifetime. And the fact that these things are being discovered right as I am approaching age 51. I also been thinking about Area 51, but that's a whole nother story for another time. But I know the number 51 is going to be rather significant, as well as I've been researching the year of the dragon. And those that know me intimately know that I often speak about being the quintessential of the ancient dragon, but more from the Chinese perspective, not the Western version of the dragons, where the dragon is the fucking enemy. No. I have due diligently reconnected back to my Eastern sensibilities. I'm still growing in those areas, but I'm quite proud of myself that I have established the link. So many things that I look at, I am able to highlight the contradictions almost swiftly with the way that it is viewed from the Eastern scope versus the Westernized scope. And for so, I was getting ready to say for so many years, but it seems even longer than that, um, on a very deeply rooted, like it's like this deeply rooted sensibility that connects me to the characteristics of the antiquated dragon and all the things that can permeate through one's personality, especially when that said dragon is identified as part of one's spirit animal totem. So, like owls and dragons and panthers and lynx, not very many people will identify with those particular animals because it requires you to understand lightness and darkness. It requires you to respect the duality of a thing. It requires that you walk in a meridian and understand certain energetic ley lines and being able to see things from multiple sides. And so sometimes that can be quite a peculiar position to be in when you're dealing with folks of a mainstream mindset, when they think in narrowness of right and wrong and they don't see the spectrum, the diversity of life itself. And so it can get a bit tricky um, at dinner parties because many times I really do find myself like I see your side and your side. Like I see it. I can sense it. I feel it. I understand it. So as I said earlier, I'm really slow to say somebody's right or wrong because one man's trash can truly be another man's treasure. And so, um, the way the dragon is viewed in the East is not the way the dragon is viewed in the West. And the villainized dragon, the one that's called evil to some people, is actually the champion to other people. So, I use the example a lot of how I went to a middle school named after a man who used to sign executive orders to kill my people. So, it's like how does a middle school get its name? And the irony of somebody like me and my kinfolk who will be ushered into the doors. So, if once a thing is named, it take on its spirit, its essence. And so it answers the question of why I always felt uneasy at school. School was never a welcoming place. The vibe was always wrong. So it's it's peculiar that more of my kinfolk are not willing to go deep into the soil and check out those vibratory frequencies, check out the nature of certain things. Why is it named this? How did it get named this? What are the frequencies linked to this name or the spirit that names this. Like what was the sense of focus when these streets were named, when these neighborhoods were carved out, like all of this stuff. And we just go and be ushered into these energetic bubbles and sometimes these wormholes and through these thresholds and these portals without even knowing that it's a thing. And then you get someone like me who's talking about this thing, and the easiest thing is to name me crazy. Yeah, I'm crazy, all right. Yeah, it is what it is. I'm no longer intimidated by that catchphrase. I used to get upset, crazy. Who you calling crazy? Now it's like, so I just wanted to say that I'm going to attach it to the little piece, the little clip that I just done. This is like the semi extended. And after I closed out that segment, of course, I continue to shuffle because that's just what I do. And these three came out: the Queen of Wands, which is Leo. Why can't I think? Off is the fire element. So it's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Am I missing one? I think that's it. Queen of Pentacles, Earth element, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, and the Knight of Wands, also fire element, um, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Now, for me personally, this means something. For you personally, it might mean something else. So I'm not going to try to interpret context into that. Um, if anything means anything in terms of intent and resonance. And so the year of 2023, the year of 2023 going into 2024, no, I think the years 2023 until 2025 is considered the year of the dragon. So I think 1988 was the last timeline, I believe, and I haven't really had a chance to dig into it, because that's another thing that's going to be going on with me until the end of the year. So if I'm not mistaken, and I think I will post on the blog, which is always a link in the description to the blog. I'm going to post on the blog what I find out concretely around the year of the dragon. But when I began reading this just a few days ago, it solidified some things for me because of my association with my animal spirit totem. So then I'm sitting here and I'm contemplating, already knowing that because of my closeout with my Chiron return and all the things that I've been studying around my essence of wounded healer and the time capsules around when certain things, when certain energies are dealing with you specifically for your lessons and your wisdom, and what one does in terms of know thyself, what is one doing to capture its own lessons and lessons that cannot be rendered to you through someone else because someone else's angle is different, so they wouldn't even be interpreting it precisely the way you need to receive it. Only you doing the work, only you sitting in front of um, your keynotes and you giving quietude so that you can hear that inner instruction. And that's the only way you're going to be able to capture the lesson the way that it's customized for you. Like I said, it can't come from an outside source. So either you're going to sit in your quietude and listen to it, whether it's light or dark, heavy or fluffy, and reconcile. Good, bad, and urban ugly. Reconcile. That's what doing the work is all about. Because I even had a moment where it's like, what is all this stuff people talk about doing the work, doing the work? What does that consist of? What does doing the work mean? What does it really, really mean on an individual basis, on an intra personal developmental base? What does that mean? And so, with me and all my agitation constantly asking that question, what I didn't know was that I was actually posing those questions to my subconscious realm. And next thing I know, certain clues and cues and things was showing up that was answering that question. So, with all of that being said, I believe that the year of the dragon has something peculiar, something proverbial, especially since I've been waving my banner. We don't fight against flesh and blood. We don't fight against flesh and blood. That's all I've been saying. Like, it's all energetic. It's all magically, deliciously energetic. It's vibratory frequencies. It's about cosmic chemistry. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Okay, so once again, it is telling me to go ahead on and just do a little do a little shuffle to close us out. Is there anything else that I would say before I close out? Um, it's chilly outside. It's a little chilly outside, but the sun is shining. It's beautiful. Um, I think that might be about it. I'm not sure if another card is gonna pop out of here or not, or if I'm supposed to just check out the bottom of the deck. Let me see. Let's see what else. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right, one more shuffle. We'll see how it turns out, right? Let's see. The Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands. This card represents strength and the resiliency. This card represents strength and resiliency even through difficult times. It is a symbol of hope and encouragement. Okay. All right. I think that works for what it is that I came up here to talk about. So, thanks for hanging out with me. And I do wish you well.